went to Invest Fest 2022 by Earn Your Leisure, and you Negroes acted a plumb fool. Before I get into it, go ahead and like this video and hit the subscribe button. My name is Jewel. I talk about Black economics, Black education, Black excellence, and Black business. Going to Invest Fest this year seemed like it was meant to be. I was watching Market Monday by Earn Your Leisure with Troy and Rashad. They had Ian Dunlap, the master investor, and Terrence J on, and they were promoting Invest Fest on Market Mondays, and they were actually giving out a few free tickets. And that was when I had first got the idea to go, but I wasn't exactly sure yet. I wasn't sold on if I wanted to go. It was held in Atlanta, and since I live in Atlanta, it seemed like a good opportunity to go learn more about investments, which I'm trying to get into. If I went, it was clear that the true reason that I would be going is just to hear what Ian Dunlap had to say. Again, the master investor. If you don't know who he is, you need to pause this video, go look him up, and then come back. And this is the part kind of like where I think fate started, doing this thing. My mom called me and she wanted to go, but she wasn't sure either. And then I had a friend text me the next night, and she asked me if I had heard of Invest Fest, and I told her that I follow Earn Your Leisure. And I had told her I was trying to get the free tickets the other night, and I wasn't sure yet if I wanted to go. And she told me she really wanted to go. And so after that, I was just like, this seemed like it's meant to be, and I went ahead and purchased my ticket. So the event started on Friday for the VIPs. And the VIPs are the rich folk, because those VIP tickets astronomically high, and I wasn't finna pay it knowing we finna go into a recession. But I got the regular standard tickets for Saturday and Sunday. But the thing is, I still ended up having to go up to the Georgia World Congress Center where the event was being held, because you have to register before you can come into the events on Saturday, Sunday, and Friday. It didn't matter if you was a VIP, a guest, a speaker. You had to do this registration thing on Saturday, so before Saturday. And so I decided to do it on Friday just to get it out the way, so I could just come in on Saturday and Sunday and get started with the event.
That be out for you? You're welcome.
Sign up at Kroger.com/boost.
Jasmine.
Attention, if you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing.
Okay. Don't get a whole too much piece of rain. Please don't go crazy.
Please get enough, because I feel like
Get
it be
enough.
running out. And y'all.
So when Saturday came around, I was so happy. I was so ecstatic to be there, and then just having the opportunity to be around so many Black people. It was over 12,000 people there over the weekend. To be around that many Black people who are interested in financial stability, financial freedom, and investing was great. I was overwhelmed with that when I first got there.
because of the business side. And that's the problem. You know, a lot of people don't really have bad credit. They have high utilization. How do I get out of it? How do I get out of having high debt? Don't use your personal credit for pretty much anything. If you have a business, 90% of your expenses are going to be in your business credit. You know what I mean? So I would also say too, try to keep your utilization as low as possible. I know it's easier said than done, but that means you might have to sacrifice certain things. That means you might not have to wear certain clothes. You might not have to buy certain food. You might have to sacrifice a little bit to pay off your debt. So that way you get a higher credit score to get more business credit. It's just like
at 10:15, they were holding a financial planning and business discussion, which was really good. They dropped a lot of gems, financial tips for business owners, and then if you don't own a business and you're just interested in property and investment, they had discussions around that as well. And then after that, it was a panel discussion hosted by Egypt Sherrod, and they talked about preparing for the recession, and they gave a bunch of good advice on the steps that we need to be taking now for if a recession hits. They, you know, we're actually saying we're in a recession right now. It just hasn't been announced because ask y'all president.
For education and entertainment all in one, we need you guys to understand that there is a business in everything you want to do. I'm up here, I'm a CEO, but at the same time, I'm making my way down to 10. Okay. Now, the next lady we have coming to the stage, who is our moderator, is a wife, a mother, a CEO. She is a full powerhouse, ladies and gentlemen. Real estate broker and NAACP Image Award nominee. And she also executive produced HGTV's hit Married to Real Estate. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome and stand up on your feet for everybody that is this stage. Egypt Sherrod. And before that, I was a preschool teacher. So I was able to take my skill set as a preschool teacher and apply it to teaching financial education. So like 15 years later, here I am. I've made over $30 million in business over the last, 15 years. I don't have to work anymore if I don't want to. What I want honestly for Egypt is everyone, because I talk to a lot of my friends that have made good money and are wealthy, but they are unhappy. So I want you to be mindful that as you learn to make money, you don't forget to also live well now. That is the purpose of that money. The purpose is not money itself. It is merely a tool to help you live a good life. And I see some people lose focus of that. And I'm like, not me. That's why you don't see me outside much. Rashawn had to call me personally to come on the stage. Because I be home, living well now, taking my naps, my walk. I have to live well. So I want that for you too.
Tiffany, I love that you just said that, and thank you for that, because as a real estate broker, as an investor, I started as a radio personality. Where's New York? Is New York here by chance? No, okay. So I know New Jersey's here. I started as a radio personality, but quickly working for someone else wasn't gonna get it. It didn't matter if I was in the biggest time slot, if I had billboards in Times Square, I was still an employee. And it wasn't until I recognized I gotta create my own, become an investor. We should all be investors, investing in something, invest in yourself. So, and then after I made my first million, I realized that there are other millionaires out there with antidepressants in their medicine cabinets because the one thing they couldn't buy was joy. So as we're out here creating multiple streams of income, put emphasis first on multiple streams of joy, because you can have the other and be miserable, but if you got the first, you will magnetically draw the rest. Okay, so back to you.
This is during the 2009 tech recessions, and I know social media has everybody believing they're gonna make $1 million the first 30 seconds. That's just not true. It took me 5 years to get to 6 figures, and then 2 years after that to get to 7, and then a year and a half after that to get to 8 figures, which was $10 million in a year. But it took time, and before that, I was a preschool teacher. So I was able to take my skill set as a preschool teacher and apply it to teaching financial education. So like 15 years later, here I am. I've made over $30 million in business over the last, 15 years. I don't have to work anymore if I don't want to. What I want honestly for Egypt is everyone, because I talk to a lot of my friends that have made good money and are wealthy, but they are unhappy. So I want you to be mindful that as you learn to make money, you don't forget to also live well now. That is the purpose of that money. The purpose is not money itself. It is merely a tool to help you live a good life. And I see some people lose focus of that. And I'm like, not me. That's why you don't see me outside much. Rashawn had to call me personally to come on the stage. Because I be home, living well now, taking my naps, my walk. I have to live well. So I want that for you too.
Tiffany, I love that you just said that, and thank you for that, because as a real estate broker, as an investor, I started as a radio personality. Where's New York? Is New York here by chance? No, okay. So I know New Jersey's here. I started as a radio personality, but quickly working for someone else wasn't gonna get it. It didn't matter if I was in the biggest time slot, if I had billboards in Times Square, I was still an employee. And it wasn't until I recognized I gotta create my own, become an investor. We should all be investors, investing in something, invest in yourself. So, and then after I made my first million, I realized that there are other millionaires out there with antidepressants in their medicine cabinets because the one thing they couldn't buy was joy. So as we're out here creating multiple streams of income, put emphasis first on multiple streams of joy, because you can have the other and be miserable, but if you got the first, you will magnetically draw the rest. Okay, so back to you.
So Egypt Sharon's panel ended around 12:15. And at that time it was time for 19 Keys to come out. If you don't know who 19 Keys is, he is a conscious brother, free thinking mind, one of the most intelligent minds in this generation. Gotta give the man props for that. But he didn't come out. In 12:15, some other dude came out to give us some type of pep talk. It was lunchtime. I was hungry. I wanted to see 19, but he didn't come out. So I looked at, my mom and my friend, and I was like, y'all, we'll go get some lunch during 19 Keys section. Maybe we'll see the end of it. He talks, a good bit. So I was like, I don't think we'll miss it if we just go get some lunch. They have food trucks outside of the Georgia World Congress Center, and then they had more food trucks on the inside in the cafeteria area. And a lot of people didn't know that the inside cafeteria area was there, so they ended up being outside in the hot Georgia heat getting food from those food trucks outside. I wasn't about that life. I went to the food trucks on the inside. entire event, I was masked, except for when it was time to eat. And then something about me taking my face mask off to eat made me take a look around me, and that's when I noticed half of you Negroes didn't have y'all face mask on. And not only is it COVID out here, it's monkeypox out here, and y'all just didn't care. And that was the first time I felt kind of like being at InvestFest. But I ate my food and I put my face mask back on. Like I said, my waffle and my chicken tenders were absolutely amazing. I think their mother and son operation, they did an amazing job, and I'm glad that that's the food truck we decided to go to. But after I got done chowing down on that waffle, I went back to the BET stage. So at InvestFest, there's 2 stages. The BET stage is where most of the panels and speakers are, and then there's the vibranium stage. On the vibranium stage, they're also having discussions, but also in the room with the vibranium stage, there's a lot of black-owned vendors and stuff in there. So I went back to the BET stage, and when we had got there, the security told us the 19 Keys was done speaking, so we missed 19 Keys, which I'm fine with. I'm sure he's gonna upload a high-level conversation about what happened on Your Leisure's YouTube. So I was fine with that. But after 19 Keys, it was time for Steve Harvey to come out. He was the keynote speaker this year. And when I say the forces of Negrotry started to become awakened at this time, y'all started acting crazy for no reason. In order to get in there, so first of all, my mom left before me, and she went to go save seats for my friend and I. Security made my mom leave out the room so they could set up for Steve Harvey, right? Which is cool. So my mom just stood at the door. So if this is the door, a whole bunch of crowd of people just start crowding up at the door, trying to push, shove, arguments, acting crazy. And I know it's Steve Harvey, but I'm like, y'all, we can calm down, we can act civilized about this. We do see this man on TV every day. We don't have to act like this, but no, y'all decided to act this way. And then again, I know this, you people aren't maxed, and now we're in this huddle up to get into Steve Harvey, and this is what's happening in the Georgia World Congress Center. It was freezing cold in there. Soon as you flip that door open, in a blink of an eye, from hot to cold. But because we were so crowded up, that heat started rising up, and you could start seeing people get uncomfortable, and now everybody want to bring out their face mask and use the face mask that was provided for us. But when I tell y'all, that huddle was just so hot, we couldn't even feel the air conditioning. But anyway, we did get in. When we got into Steve Harvey, it didn't get any better.
Yo, I got a whole lot of women coming for me. Bottles keep popping, that's why the bad girl talking. It's a party, it's a party, it's a party. It's a party, it's a party, it's a party. My partner on the, hey, my other partner roll up the light, turn again. Yo, hey, it's a party, it's a party, it's a party. It's a, yeah. I stepped in the club, rolling up that wine. Keep young security said me. My presence started. The girl, I can't help it, man. All I wanna try, yeah. I'm like, why I try? My swear they wanna buy. Turn up, what the? When I only do it, you ain't gotta choose it. You can listen. Grocery, right? Grocery, you think I know what we need? That's how we ball it. You know that I'm rolling. Do another baby. Come on, the.
We got a special surprise from Waka Flocka Flame. He came out and he performed about a good 3 or 4 songs, gave us some encouragement. Y'all know I love me some Waka Flocka, especially the tip that he on the holistic journey and the farming thing. I really love it for our culture. So this girl, Atlanta type girl, you know what I mean by Atlanta type girl, don't play with me. This Atlanta type girl is sitting behind us. I'm sorry, she ain't even sitting behind us. This Atlanta type girl comes up to the ladies who are sitting behind us, and they have 2 seats saved for their friends who are in the bathroom. She walk up to these women and ask them about their seats, and then tell them she finna sit in it with her friends. And she bring her friends, and they're like, don't do that. So anyway, argument ensues behind us. Dude next to us is like, what is going on down there? We tell him this girl just hijacked their seats, and you know, they got a problem with that, as they should. And he's just like, what? He's like, it's been craziness since I got here this morning. And I'm just like, well, I guess so. I was in such awe I didn't even realize, but still had a great time nevertheless. But in my head, for the girl, I was just like, we're coming here to better ourselves, and you choosing to continue to be ignorant. Just dumb for no reason.
Yes. Thank God. Thank God. Y'all don't make some noise. Make some noise. All right. Yes. Because y'all don't clap no more. Because everybody got a camera. So y'all don't do no damn clapping no more. I don't appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You know, I'm from that old generation where, you know, you didn't have no phone cameras. You came out, everybody clapped for you. I didn't feel none of that just now. So, but I'm good, though. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So, this is going to be it. First of all, you see this room. You've performed in front of thousands of people before, but you've seen arenas packed for sports. You've seen arenas packed for comedy shows. You've seen arenas packed to see celebrities talk about their movie. Have you ever seen something like this for financial literacy?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't know that we would ever get to this. You know, I had hoped. You know, we'll pay a lot of money for entertainment. We'll pay top dollar to see our favorite artists. But when it comes to investing in yourself, back in the day, it just didn't happen like this. This is an amazing thing to see. 12,000 people, you know, who are trying to invest in themselves. And the other impressive thing about it is so many young people. You know, it's a lot of young people in here, man. That's a great testament as to where we're headed as a people and what you two brothers have accomplished in a very, very short period of time. You filled a void that was so needed. There was such a thirst for what you had. Because young people need information. They need information, man. And that's what you all have managed to do.
So we're about to have a powerful conversation. But once again, before we start, I don't want to have to take any media credentials. Anybody that's in the media, I need you to take a knee. You can't block the front row. I ask you nicely, next time we're just going to take your media credentials. Please be respectful of the people that's in the front row. It's very, very important. So, I want to start this conversation off with the power of partnerships, the power of collaboration, and what better way to start it than us. And first and foremost, I want to thank you because when we met you, it was a crazy connection that we had right away. We spent 2 hours talking before the podcast, 2.5 hours during the podcast, an hour after the podcast. So we spent like the whole day with him. And at the end, he was like, you know, I really like you guys a lot, and we're gonna make a lot of money together. And, you know, I told Troy that our lives would never be the same after that. And I just had that feeling. And it only took a couple of months for you to honor your word and to actually work with us. And this is the first joint venture, hopefully of many more to come that we've done. So I tell that story because it's important to the power of collaboration, the power of seeing value in something, the power of partnerships, and the power and understanding of working together. Is something that we have to do more on every level, on a high level, on a small level, wherever you're at. You're only gonna go so far by yourself. So let me ask you this: what made you want to work with us? What did you see in us, and why did you think that the value of collaborative efforts are important?
Well, first of all, this generation of young people are probably our brightest collection of minds to come along since I've been alive. Now, I'm older than most people in here. You know, I'm 65, so I know. I know you can't believe it because the pimp just drips all the time. But you young people are the brightest generation to come along in my lifetime. If I don't invest in you, if I don't see you two and be able to see something in you and invest, I'm doing a discredit to the future of us, especially people of color. It is important, man, that we take the time out to recognize the young people who are gifted and willing to put in the work. But then I gotta give credit to you two too, because as smart as you are as this younger generation, please don't discredit old people. Because old people have something, man. Old people paid to get to a spot that you're trying to get to. See, you gotta remember something about old. Old is the goal. So while you sitting up there and the people may not be as tech savvy as you, they still have something to bring to the table. And I think that joining together with young forces and then putting an old head in the mix, I mean, look, this is not just cause of me. You know, this is a collective effort of you and your team. But last year was 3,500 people. This year you got 12,000. You understand? Them numbers, man.
I think obviously you're a generational talent. I knew you from doing the Apollo. My son knows you and my daughter knows you from watching Family Feud. And so you've had trials and tribulations, but you've had success. When we look at this, obviously we have 45.
When Steve Harvey finally came out and got started, he did such a great, amazing job. He dropped so many gems. He gave such good advice. And the thing that I love about Steve Harvey is he's not interested in bigging himself up when he's trying to give advice, or when he's asked to give people advice. He is wholeheartedly about the advice, the information, and I'm always gonna have respect for him because he gave me so many business ideas just in the short time that he talked with us, and I'm so grateful that I got to go. If I just got to go for him and Ian Dunlap only, it was well worth the $200 and some spent on the ticket. Steve Harvey shared a few lessons, and then one of the lessons that stood out to me, and it was actually a reoccurring theme and lesson from InvestFest, was listen to your wife, right? If you're a married man, you gotta listen to your wife. That is a reoccurring thing that a lot of the successful men who are on the panel said. And Steve Harvey gave 2 instances about his career, and then also the time where he went to the Trump Towers, and he let us know while we was at Investors. He was like, a lot of people think that I went to the Trump Towers to talk to Trump, and he was like, I didn't. He was like, I actually went to talk to Ben Carson about making dream centers in urban communities. But he said Trump ended up coming out and asked him to take a picture with him, and that's what he ended up doing. But he was like, none of that would have happened if he would have just listened to his wife. So that's a lesson. Take note. One of the things that I liked that Steve Harvey said, and I felt like he was speaking directly to the girl behind us, is he said, if you're not right within, you're not going to get the blessings that you got coming to you. And I felt that. Acting a fool and blocking your blessings, don't even know it.
Get it louder. I love you, Trump.
I love you, Trump.
Welcome to the stage, the greatest out of all of us. My dog, and I'm honored to call him a sparring partner, a friend, comrade, Wall Street Trapper.
I'm the realest, yeah, y'all already know. I'm the realest, yeah, y'all already know.
Man, Josh, what's up, brother? Let's talk, y'all. Hey, I want y'all to know something right quick. Josh is my guy. He's the only person on CNBC that got J.P. Morgan and Biggie Smalls in the background. If that ain't some gangster shit, I ain't never seen it before. Let's talk about this money, fellas.
Yo, I had a whole routine like that planned, but they told me don't do it. They said let Trap do that.
So I mean, Trap just spelled out. Who's trying to talk about some money, make some money, and build some wealth? Come on, come on, come on, come on! Oh, Trap. It's only like half of them. Only half of them want to do that. The food trucks are open. But for the other half, the food trucks are, you don't want to make any money? Anybody want to make some money? Anybody want to talk about some money? Oh, no, y'all just want to spend it. Food trucks are open. Nah, you want to build some wealth? I think we got to get started. So we were back there, we were just chopping it up. We've been on the phone, we've been talking about everything else. We want to make sure we give you something to really put you in the right position for the second half of 2022 and beyond. We want to talk to you about planning your portfolio for the second half of this year. I know we're already a month into the second half of the year, so some of you may have started, but we're hoping to give you some ideas to really jumpstart what you're doing to reach your financial goals. Trap, you already got everybody pumped up. Let's start off with you. What's your philosophy for the second half of the year? If you watch CNBC, you know we had the worst first half of the year since Richard Nixon was the president. That's way back. Some people here weren't even born back then, a lot of people. So we're following one of the worst first halves of the year in about half a century. What are you looking at for the second half?
Cool. So all my trappers know we do what in the drought, y'all? We make more money in the drought, right? We make more money in the drought, right?
Alright, man, so this half of the year, so for us, the most important thing for me is to see like what caused that, right? So I know a lot of people were in big tech in the first half of the year, and then when that took a dive, we kind of try to exit out of that. So for me, it's saying, okay, like how can I find those companies that have great cash flow, right? Good operating cash flow and good management that can navigate this. Even though I saw earnings decrease, I want to see companies that can be consistent, right? So that's kind of what I'm looking for. Again, I'm heavy in med tech, right? That's strong for me, right? And also just looking at companies that people need every day, right? That won't fail, right? That have good balance sheets, consistent growth. That's kind of what I'm looking at for the second half, man.
Josh, coming over to you. You are a CEO yourself.
After that, we were literally worn out. My mom wanted to get us a hotel room so that we would just be able to get back to the venue fast tomorrow because of the Saturday and Sunday event. So we decided to, go to the Vibranium stage, look at the vendors real quick, see what products we might want to buy tomorrow, and then go back to the hotel and get some rest. We go to the hotel, the Hilton Heart of Atlanta Hotel, the famous hotel. It was horrible. Okay, so my mom and I just got to the hotel and we're leaving. Only one elevator was working. Drunk man bumps into me on the elevator. And that's when I made up my mind. I was like, I'm going home. But anyway, we got to our hotel room, we checked in, we ended up checking back out and just going home because we had enough for that day. Well, that is it for part 1 of Invest Fest. I'm gonna make a part 2 pretty soon, so check back in next week or in a few weeks to see part 2 of Invest Fest. Today, this video is about the shenanigans that happened on Saturday, and then the next one will be on the shenanigans that happened on Sunday. I've been Jewel. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you on the next video.